People have been lied to their entire lives about what it means to be smart. They've been told that intelligence is something you're either born with or not. Either you're naturally smart or you're out of luck. This whole idea about IQ, about innate abilities, it's a lie that keeps millions of people trapped in mediocrity. And it's about to become clear why everything you thought about intelligence is wrong. Neuroscience research and conversations with people everyone considers geniuses show one thing. These people weren't born with a super brain. They simply did certain things every day that nobody talks about. And these things physically change their brain. The brain is a muscle, not literally, but it works on the same principle. When you train your bicep, it grows. When you train your brain the right way, it grows too. Literally. Neurons create new connections, new neural pathways appear, gray matter density increases. This is called neuroplasticity, but school doesn't teach you to train your brain. School teaches you to memorize information for a test, then forget it. The whole system is built for people to swallow ready-made answers, not learn to think independently. That's exactly why most people with degrees can't solve a simple problem in real life. Real intelligence isn't about how much information you can memorize. It's not an IQ test. Real intelligence is the ability to think, analyze, ask the right questions, see connections between things, solve problems you've never encountered before. And here's what's funny. Most people, everyone considers smart, don't consider themselves that way. Programmers, scientists, entrepreneurs, they all say one thing. They're just curious. They're interested in figuring things out. That's the whole secret. Look at what happens with most people. They see something complex and their brain immediately says, "This isn't for me, I won't understand this," and they turn away. Don't even try. This becomes a habit of avoiding the difficult. And in a few years, this habit turns their brain into a lazy mass. Now imagine a different person. This person sees something complex and thinks, "I wonder how this works." He starts digging, asks questions, Googles, reads, thinks about it in the shower, and after some time, he understands. And his brain literally changes in that moment. New neural connections are created. The brain becomes stronger. Repeat this process hundreds of times, and in a year, this person will look like a genius. Not because he was born smart, but because he trained his brain to think. Now about focus. Everyone says you need concentration, but nobody explains that focus is a skill you can train. The ability to hold attention on one thing is a muscle. And for most people right now, this muscle is atrophied. Think about how many times in the last hour you checked your phone. The brain got used to constant attention switching. It became addicted to quick dopamine hits. And as a result, people lost the ability to think deeply about one thing. And deep thinking is exactly what creates intelligence. When you can hold a complex idea in your head long enough to examine it from all sides, that's when magic happens. That's when insights are born. But this is impossible if your attention jumps like a monkey every 30 seconds. So the first thing you need to do is restore your ability to focus. Start with 15 minutes a day. Choose one thing, a book, a problem, a question, and think only about that for 15 minutes. No phone, no distractions. The first few days will be hard, but if you continue, it'll get easier after a week. In a month, these 15 minutes will turn into 30 on their own. Now about curiosity. Watch little kids. They ask a million questions. Their brain absorbs information like a sponge. They learn at incredible speed. Now look at adults. Most stopped asking questions. They think they already know everything, or they're afraid to look stupid. So they just accept everything as is, don't think, don't analyze, and their brain slowly degrades. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. Neural connections that aren't used literally die off. The brain optimizes itself for what you do every day, so you need to cultivate curiosity. Force yourself to ask questions about everything. Why is this company successful? How does this technology work? What connects these two phenomena? Don't take anything on faith. Dig deeper. When you Google something, don't stop at the first article. Read 5 articles. Compare different viewpoints. Think for yourself what makes sense. This is training your thinking. Every time you do this, your brain becomes a little stronger. Now the most important thing. Intelligence isn't a static thing. It's a process. It's a habit of thinking. Imagine 2 people with the same IQ, but one trains his thinking every day. He reads complex books, analyzes problems from all sides, asks questions, explains complex ideas in simple words. The other lives on autopilot, watches TV shows, reads news headlines, avoids complex topics. In 5 years, there will be a chasm between these 2 people. The difference isn't in talent, not in luck. The difference is in habits. Here's a simple exercise. Every day, choose one idea. Spend 30 minutes actually thinking about it. Ask yourself questions. How does this work? Why is this important? What are the consequences? Then try to explain this idea to someone else. If you can't explain something in simple words, it means you don't really understand it. Do this every day. In a month, you'll notice changes. In 3 months, friends will start saying you've gotten smarter. In 6 months, you won't recognize yourself. And one more thing. Environment. A person becomes the average of the 5 people they spend the most time with. If you're surrounded by people who don't think, you'll become the same. But if you surround yourself with curious people, you'll grow to their level. If you don't have access to smart people in real life, find them online. Read their blogs, listen to their podcasts. The brain doesn't make a big difference. The smartest people make mistakes most often. Not because they're stupid, but because they try more. They're not afraid to look stupid. They say, I don't know, and I was wrong. Because every time you admit your mistake, your brain grows. This is called intellectual humility. Not the ability to be right, but the ability to change your mind when new information appears. And finally, this is a long game. You won't become smart in a week, but every day matters. Every time you choose to think, every time you ask a question, every time you focus, the brain changes a little bit. In a year, these small changes add up to a transformation. You become a different person, not because you were born with a special brain, but because you trained it every day. So start today. Choose one habit, 15 minutes of deep focus, one good question every day. Anything, just start. Because becoming smart is really easy if you're willing to do it every day.